I enjoy the series. I think it's great for the city. I think it's fun for the players. It's something different, and there's obviously emotion in it. Probably the game that I remember the most was Tech scoring from first on the pop-up to second base, probably more than any game. It was a crazy night, but I enjoyed it.
Anything with Girardi players? I know you're scheduled to see the
Tomorrow. Yeah.
And Jonathan said in the front of the seating space to be activated tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, that's our plans, but it's something that, we'll talk about, but that's our plans, yeah.
So anything from the guys who were down in Tampa today, extended spring games?
Yeah, Tex had five ABs, 5 innings. Uke had 5 ABs, 5 innings. Nooney didn't do anything. Alex took BP on the field and ground balls. Andy's preparing for his simulated game tomorrow. Is there anyone I'm missing? I don't think so. Sure there is. Oh, Pineda? He probably has a scheduled start coming up pretty soon again. I'm not sure which day though. Should be 70 pitches, I think, or so. 60 or 70 pitches.
So if you versus Kelly, what if you do have to make changes?
I mean, Java was the guy that we used in the 7th inning. Robbie needs a day off. I wouldn't be afraid to use him in the 8th inning. It just gives us more depth, and with a lot of the close games that we have been in, it's good to have another power arm like that where you can share the workload.
Joe, can you hark back to that first Subway Series game? What's sort of the difference between that 1997 game leading up to today versus pregame now? You actually had 3 hits in that game. When you think back on that, I guess just what's the overall change in atmosphere between the first and that?
Well, I think the atmosphere is still really good. I think anytime something happens for the first time that people are excited about, the atmosphere is going to be a little bit different. But I think the atmosphere is still great. I really do. I'm anxious to see what it's going to be like tonight. It's a holiday, and I'm sure people went a lot of different places, but I'm anxious to see how it's going to be tonight. And as I said, anytime something happens for the first time, there's usually a bigger buzz.
Show the people who aren't in the room wanting to know if you've seen Harvey watch yet, what do you think?
Just watching him on TV, he's impressive. I actually watched his first start last year. I believe it was against Arizona, right? Yeah, and I called my buddy. I said, he's a Mets fan. I told him, I said, you have something to be excited about. This kid's got a great arm, and he's been impressive all year long. I've seen some of his games on TV. I saw the game that he pitched against the Phillies. I think it was a Sunday night game. So we'll get a chance to see him in person tomorrow. He's got a good swing, too.
Very in front there.
Joe, what are the status on all the players that you gave status reports on before, in terms of how far away are they from being activated?
Well, I mean, that's hard to say. I'm asked that question a lot. It's probably every day. When they're ready, that's when they'll be here. And part of that goes into when we think they're physically ready, but part of it is when they feel that they're physically and mentally ready. Because, a guy like Tex hasn't really had a spring training. A guy like Curtis didn't really have a spring training. If you're out for a couple of weeks and you go on the DL, you're only out a couple of weeks, maybe you need 2 or 3 days of at-bats or something, or maybe even only 1 day. But when you're out as long as they have been, I think they have a feeling when they feel like, you know what, I'm ready to go. I feel like my left-handed swing is good. I feel like my right-handed swing is good. It's time. And that's hard to predict because that's a feeling that they get, not us.
What about Alex?
We've said after the All-Star break at some point. Don't have an exact date.
Is he on schedule? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything we expect him to do, yeah.
Bill on the left side.
Yeah, Joe, as a follow-up to that, there's been a lot of speculation of Tex that he was coming back by the weekend. Is that overly optimistic?
I know there's been a lot of talk about that. Tex is going to play again tomorrow in a simulated game, and then he's scheduled to go to Trenton Wednesday and Thursday, and I think those are the only 2 days that they're home. I think they go on the road, so I think people are speculating that maybe when that's up. As I've said, it's how they feel. And when we feel, they feel that they're ready. It has to be both sides, not necessarily one. And Tex feels good. He feels pretty good. But it's trickier for him because he needs left-handed and right-handed at bats. And does he feel like he can get enough of both? You played his first, 3 innings and 5 innings. He played 5 innings today, and he is getting closer. But with Uke and his back, we have to know that, in a sense, that he can go back to back to back, and we got to get through that.
Given the production you're already getting on first base and third base, is this going to be one of your harder decisions this year when you have to figure out what you're going to do?
I'll continue to take the approach. I'll handle it when I have to handle it. Right now, I got to focus on the guys in the room. We're hoping that we get these guys back soon, but I'll worry about that when it happens.
Meredith in the front.
Joe, with the way Hafner's been swinging the bat lately, how big of a loss is not being able to pass it on to being the line?
Yeah, that's a big bat to lose. I mean, that's one of the things that you have to deal with when you're an American League team and you strictly have a DH and you come to a National League ballpark. Because usually when you strictly have a DH, they're in the middle of the order. And the National League team has to deal with, they have to ask someone to DH who probably hasn't DH too much when they come to our ballpark. So we both have to deal with something, but you look for that one spot, that key spot in the game that you can use him and he can really make an impact.
And from my.
Joe, when you watched Harvey, is that because you're a fan of the game, or you think potentially you could face him? What's your reason when you checked it out?
Well, the first time I watched it was because I was a fan of the game, and I have interest in New York baseball since I live here, basically. And now I watch games because of, I know that we're playing them fairly quickly, or we're going to see them at some point, and maybe you pick something up, or you get an idea what they have, and you start thinking about matchups in your head. But it's usually teams that we're going to play. I try to tune into those games if I can.
Who's good to match up with him?
Well, I mean, we know that he's got outstanding stuff, and we'll see what happens.
So stay in the neighborhood on Monday.
Joe, regarding to Cheryl, when he comes back, will he be an everyday player, or are you going to work him in slowly?
No, I expect him to be an everyday player, but I don't anticipate that I would play him, 6, 7 days in a row right away. With Curtis, I think I played him 3 and gave him a day off, and then you try to get to 4 or 5 and then a day off, that sort of thing.
Joe, last few years it's been a 3-3 Subway Series, 3 New York Hall, 3 here. To do it all in 1 week in 1 slew, 4 games, do you prefer that?
It's a little bit easier probably on our staff preparing because you're seeing right in a row. I've never had a problem with how many games you play. The only issue that I have is I always think it should be an odd number, so that there's a winner every year. That's my only issue. So I don't really care when we play them and how many, but I think there should be an odd number.
Very.
Considering the circumstances with the injury and everything, has what Mariano done surprised you at all?
No, because of what he hurt. When he got hurt last year, he was throwing the baseball pretty well. And he hurt his knee. Now, if he would have hurt his shoulder or his elbow, I would be surprised with what he's done. But I felt that if his knee healed, he would be pretty much the same guy that we've seen year after year after year. Yeah, I know his velocity's dropped since the first time I caught him in 1996. But because it was not his arm or his shoulder, I wasn't really concerned.
Do you think not having the wear and tear of last year on his arm helped?
Oh, I'm sure it can. I mean, you hear players talk about, they only have so many bullets in their arm, and he didn't use a lot last